Great lineup this evening. We have Dr. Mickey Collins, who's in town for a conference at UCD at the weekend. He is a renowned expert in concussion and very much the treatment of it as well. So he is live in studio this hour, and we're going to have hopefully a very informative chat with him. We have Andy Dunn on Wednesday Night Rugby, also live in studio. On the football show then, 10 years ago, David Cameron, the 12th of September 2012, he apologised for the multiple wrongdoings around the Hillsborough disaster. We will chat to Tony Evans and fellow survivor Richie Greaves about the intervening 10 years, because they have been eventful. And along with all that, Leona Maguire and Katrina Matthews talking ahead of the KPMG Irish Open from Dromoland Castle. They're in conversation with Aisling O'Reilly, who was talking to them today, so we'll play you a good chunk of that conversation as well. 53106, the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. Mick McCarthy here in studio.
Hey, Joe.
And Richie McCormack is there as well. Hello, Richie.
Gents, how are you?
We are very well. That's a good lineup, Mick.
It's not a bad show tonight, yeah. Yeah, look, I can't argue with it. A lot to talk about. Leona Maguire, Andy Dunn, and then bookended by two very, very serious but very, very important pieces that I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, he goes by Mickey. I mean, Dr. Michael Collins is how he's referred to generally in the literature. So, I'll call him Dr. Collins to begin with. He's in studio doing a conference at UCD at the weekend on Saturday, and he's a renowned expert in concussions. So that's a topic where there's so much information and it's very complicated, and he's at the cutting edge and actually
changing all the time as well.
Very much so.
It?
And he, I think, amongst other things, I don't think he'll downplay the consequences or the risks, but certainly doing some reading in advance of the interview, he will sound a positive note about treatments and how treatments are evolving, and treatment is very active. We would think concussion, go and rest in a dark room, but actually I'm not going to attempt the science, but there are 6 different types of concussions, and there are different types of treatment across the board, and they're active treatments. It's not just rest. And he's very confident if you're having symptoms, there's a lot we can do to get you right again. So that's a message we don't hear that often.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it was up until a couple of years ago, I think it was becoming more and more, I suppose the future of sport, and the contact sport especially, was kind of in question in many ways. And I know I've been hearing a lot of stories about American football recently, and how the kind of fear of parents letting their children play football has kind of, it's probably reached its peak and is on its decline now, and people are kind of back into it a little bit more, and that might be a post-COVID thing. But I wonder, is it from intimate knowledge of concussion research and development? I would doubt it, but ultimately, if that is going along the same way, and you have to think that that this has been treated so seriously in the last 10-15 years, that people like Dr. Collins are going to dig into it in a way that's never been done before, and hopefully we will see. I don't think we can ever eradicate the dangers of head injury, unfortunately.
And different people are more susceptible than others. All of these variables are out there. For instance, I was reading, if you're liable to suffer from car sickness, you're more prone to concussion.
Right. So what happens if you used to be prone to car sickness but you grew out of it? That's a very specific question I've just asked you there, Joe. Sorry about that.
I'll put that to Dr. Collins.
Because that would be my experience. Car sick when I was a kid, not as I was an adult.
Yeah. Oh, I'd still get it.
Yeah?
Badly.
Oh,
yeah,
no, it wouldn't be too bad in it. But then again, maybe I learnt all the tricks when I was a kid, and I subconsciously don't do things like reading in the back of a car.
I could 3 lines.
Yeah.
Reading would
always look out the window. Do you know the key to car sickness, Joe?
What?
You're moving, you have to have your eyes on something that isn't. So that's out the window, at the road, whatever it might be. Very important.
On the horizon, or can you look to your left and right?
That's why you can't help yourself on a boat's no good for you. There's nothing steady on a boat. No, not on the horizon. Like, literally just look at the road. That's why you don't get it when you're driving.
But if you look, I don't get it when I'm driving. Yeah. But if you're looking to your left, is everything not whizzing by?
It's steady though. It's in its same place. You're watching it where it's supposed to be. It's not moving with you. It's motion sickness.
Motion sickness. Yeah. There's no escaping a boat.
Escaping a boat. That sea is moving. It's not concrete.
That is nothing worse. We should start the newsround, because there's plenty going on, and even some breaking news things around Stuart Lancaster, but we'll come to that in due course. The Newsround, as ever, is brought to you with Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. We are, Richie, we're trying to make some bit of extra time for Dr. Collins here in studio, so we've asked you to only bring us the essentials.
I can speed read, Joe, if you want. It's a trick of the trade as well. I can, if you enunciate and if you project, you're adding time.
I think me and Mick not talking about car sickness also could be considered.
Probably would do it.
Yeah.
Richie, 1.5 speed. Let's go.
Okay. There's an important contest in the Republic of Ireland's Nations League group this evening with Scotland and Ukraine playing a game that was originally scheduled for March but was postponed due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Kick-off at Hampden is at 7:45. Meanwhile, Erling Haaland
Don't do it. There is
you asked me.
No, there is nothing worse than you were listening to a podcast and it does hit you. I think I've 1.5 to that.
It's impressive, but I wasn't listening to a word you said.
Yeah.
So
Scotland play Ukraine this evening.
Scotland, Ukraine this evening, Kieran Tierney in for the injured Andy Robertson for the Scots. Looks like they've gone with 5 at the back. That could well change, though, come kick-off time. No Alexander Zinchenko for Ukraine either. Meanwhile, Erling Haaland could pay a visit to the Aviva in November. The FAI has confirmed a pair of friendlies for that month. The 17th of November is when Norway will come to town, and Ireland will be off to the Takali Stadium on the 20th of November for a friendly with Malta. Elsewhere, the Ireland under-19s have made an ideal start to their European Championship qualifying campaign. A hat-trick from Cork City's Mark O'Mahony spurred them on to a 6-0 win over Gibraltar in Colwyn Bay this evening. Tom Mohan's side played group host Wales on Saturday. The Welsh today played out a goalless draw with Hungary. And Vera Pauw will be without Leanne Kiernan for next month's World Cup playoff with Scotland or Austria. Liverpool have confirmed the striker will be out for several months with an ankle injury that was sustained in their WSL win over Chelsea.
I'm not sure what the average attendance for Ireland-Norway in a friendly would be expected to be, but if Haaland is playing, that it wouldn't be a million miles off filling it, I would think. He's already has that status.
So? You think he's one of those, I want to go and see this guy in the flesh while he's still relatively young before he becomes an untouchable superstar under Ronaldo, Messi?
My first thought this evening when I saw the friendly was announced was, oh Jesus, the eldest would love to see Haaland, so I might try and have to get tickets for that one. That will be replicated around a lot of the place.
I think so.
He's also a player, Richie, that there's something very specific about Erling Haaland that I think lends himself to really wanting them to see in person. More so than a lot of the other players. You can kind of see what they do on TV, whereas this guy, it's such a physical specimen, and a lot of it's to do with his understated and unusual movement that they talk about. You know, that's the guy you almost want to watch for 90 minutes.
Totally. I'll be there one way or another, and it's for all those reasons as well. And so there's both the kids aspect, as in Richie had that thought, and so did lots of parents. And then Damien Duff was saying in the paper, we mentioned on the football show with Dan, that Duff adores Erling Haaland and has made a 15-minute video that he's given to his various strikers, and they watch it daily, and it's all about his movement. So I would quite like to go and just watch him for 80% of the game, just see what he's doing, and also want to see how big he is.
And then the other 20% is watching Ireland stuffing.
Yeah. Now, if we all get there and Erling Haaland's on the bench,
it's a friendly against Ireland.
Yeah,
it's probably not their biggest game that week.
There's nothing surer. Yeah, there's nothing surer than he will be injured in the week leading up to the friendly. Nothing surer in the world. Queuing a lot of disappointed 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds.
The tickets will be sold, and that's all that matters.
How does your 10-year-old say to you, I don't really want to go anymore? Well, I guess you won't get we won't see the team named until an hour before. If they put him in the squad and then stick him on the bench, there'll be groans around the stadium.
Yeah. But this game for them is our Malta.
What's their other game, do you know?
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
I'm
assuming that Erling Haaland is selling friendlies for them now as well. You know what I mean? See,
I think it's tricky because we're into these are two teams not going to the World Cup.
That's true. Yeah.
The World Cup types are on a different schedule. Dan was saying at one point there was a danger Ireland could be playing Malta on the same day the World Cup starts. Now that would feel like a moment to really
question whether how patriotic you are. Am I going to watch this friendly against Malta?
In Malta.
Yeah.
Or will I watch the World Cup?
Will we do a piece on John Aldridge's 2 goals to get us to Italia 90 before that game?
I'm more enthused about the chess piece that we discussed last night. Katie Taylor is fighting again, and quite soon.
Yeah, and not in Croke Park as expected. She'll return to the ring on October 29th. The undisputed lightweight champion will face Karen Elizabeth Carabajal at Wembley Arena. Taylor's Argentine opponent is unbeaten in her 19 professional outings thus far, but she is yet to fight outside of her native country.
Dan McDonnell, as I mentioned last night, texts me if I make a mistake on air, and he's been very quick off the mark this evening. Within 30 seconds of me saying that we might be playing them on the day the World Cup starts. He says we
Same
are
day.
playing them on the day the World Cup starts. They haven't confirmed kickoff for that reason. I'm literally in live conversation here with Dan McDonnell. That they said that's the reason they haven't confirmed the kickoff time. I think
Come on, Joe.
Trying
Qatar and Ecuador, or Ireland, Malta. What are you going to pick?
Yeah,
It's a fair point. Qatar and Ecuador, if we're playing at the same time.
I still think we should avoid kicking off at the same time as the first game of the World Cup.
They won't.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. Don't worry, Joe. You'll be able to watch both thrilling matches.
Dan, any other thoughts? Just text me.
Dan's our first ever virtual guest on the
Here in
Newsround.
spirit. So, interesting news from Westmeath.
Yeah, ratification season in full swing. Desi Dolan will succeed Jack Cooney as Westmeath manager this evening. The 2004 Leinster medalist expected to be ratified as the Lake County's new senior manager at a meeting of the county board. Dolan will be assisted by fellow All-Star John Keane, with both having worked under Cooney last year as Westmeath won the Tailteann Cup.
Dan McDonnell is typing. I suspect to call me a name. We have cricket then.
Yeah, Ireland are one win away from a place in the Women's T20 World Cup finals. They beat Scotland by 19 runs in Abu Dhabi this afternoon to finish second in their qualifying group. And it's just been confirmed in the past few moments that Ireland will play Zimbabwe for a place in the finals. But Zimbabwe today beaten by the United Arab Emirates. Also confirmed that Ireland's men will play a test match at Lord's next year. They'll face England in a 4-day test at the home of cricket starting on June the 1st.
Final McDonnell point. It wasn't to call me a name. It was to let you know, Mick, Norway's other game is against Finland. Mick being very harsh there in Ireland.
Yeah, but that's a local derby, Dan. Scandinavian derbies, there's no quarter asked nor given.
This is like, I'm not passing the salt to Mick from Dan. Dan says, there ends my virtual contribution. So he's out. Mic drop. So Finland and Ireland.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
There you go. So World Rowing, what stage are we at? These are progressing.
We've got 2 quarterfinals in certain events today. That'll obviously continue on through tomorrow in the Czech Republic. But Paul O'Donovan and Fintan McCarthy safely through to their AB semi-final at the World Rowing Championships. The Olympic gold medalists won their quarterfinal this morning in the lightweight men's double sculls. Phil Doyle and Conan Patsaya missed out on qualification for the AB semis of the men's double sculls by just 0.03 of a second. Hugh Moore qualified for the CD semi-finals of the men's lightweight scull, and Brian Kolsch is into tomorrow's semis of the men's scull. He also narrowly missed out on a place in the AB deciders.
We are at some stage, we were talking about doing it today, but Andy Dunn's going to come into the studio. We're going down a slightly different route after 8 o'clock. But we were considering doing a piece on the financial crisis in English club rugby, and may well do that in due course with Chris Jones from the BBC potentially. And you've got some details on this. This is, I think, getting quite serious, we're saying, Richie, at this point.
Yeah, it's very serious now at this stage. Wasps are on the verge of relegation from the Premiership. The club are to appoint an administrator with the 2-time European champions £35 million in debt to bondholders who are due to be paid in May. Premiership regulations state that clubs who enter administration will automatically be relegated. Meanwhile, Worcester once again face the prospect of being suspended from all English RFU competitions. The union wants assurances the club will be able to pay their players and staff, have a credible plan to take it forward, as well as insurance cover, and they want all that by 5 p.m. on Monday. Sunday's Premiership match with Exeter only went ahead after a last-minute safety certificate was granted for Sixways Stadium, and they also play in the Premiership Cup tonight.
Very good. Richie, slightly curtailed this evening. Thank you very much. Yes, I can't even talk.
No worries.
We will talk to Andy Dunn after 8 o'clock. The Irish Times, Jerry Thornley reporting that Stuart Lancaster to Racing 92 as head coach next season is pretty much all but done and confirmed. So we'll talk to Andy about that amongst other things. Mick, thank you.
Cheers, Joe.